Hello, Fireflies. Goddess of Fire back for another fire conversation. Hot topic today is the Aries full moon. Okay, a couple things before we get started. I swear, in all of my readings, if that's not something you're into, there are plenty of other tarot readers that do not use as colorful of language. All of my readings are general. So it's going to be one size fits most, not one size fits all. So think of it as a dressing room. Take what fits and leave the rest behind. All right. A lot to kind of unpack here because this full moon is kind of a big deal. Because 1, it's a blood moon, 2, it's a super moon, and 3, it is a total lunar eclipse. Excuse me. It's also referred to as the hunter's moon because it's the first full moon after the harvest. And, throughout history, our ancestors, this would be the time when farmers or tribes would begin gathering meat for the winter. Sorry, my throat chakra is flexing right now. So this full moon, this super full blood moon, is in the sign of Aries, right? So Aries is the first sign of the zodiac and is also the first fire sign of the zodiac. It's ruled by the planet Mars and governs war. That's good. Aries is, action-oriented, driven by desire, impulsive by nature. It's our inner warrior, passionate, powerful, and takes the initiative. So the placement of this spectacular moon is in opposition with this, full moons and eclipses. Lunar eclipses always occur. I think eclipses in general. Sorry, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning and I have no business being up this late. So bear with me while I try to do this. I'm just awake, the vibes are flowing, and I felt connected to the energy, so I decided to go for it. Anyways, so right now, the sun is in Libra, and that's bringing attention to balance, empathy, karma, unification. And with the moon in Aries, that's bringing attention to action, confidence, divisiveness, self-interest. A lot of the themes and energies that I'm picking up on is, change and disruption. And disruption isn't always a bad thing. So I just want to bear that in mind. It's giving me a lot of Tower vibes. And, we all know that the Tower is one of the most feared cards in the entire tarot deck. But it can always be good things. But I'm also feeling a lot of momentum and movement, transformation and transition. These are all, words that came to mind when I was kind of tapping into this energy and putting together my notes to make sure I'm organized when I talk about things, so that even when it's too late for me to be awake, I can still manage to do it. But I also want to be able to give you guys really straightforward and, good information to prepare you for the energies that are flowing through the atmosphere. This full moon and the opposition with the sun being in Libra is just really bringing a heavy focus on what we desire in both pre-existing relationships and future connections and relationships. So just kind of bearing that in mind. Be very, very careful with words, because you want to be able to say what you mean and mean what you say without being hurtful. And with Aries energy, we can, fire signs in general are very, very blunt, very, very honest, very, very straightforward. So just be mindful. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. This moon is also forcing us to, kind of find the balance between action versus reaction. And what I mean by action, with this sign, it's all about authority, confidence, pioneering energy, warriorship, right? And then the reaction side is really aggression, combativeness, frustration, and patience. So finding that happy balance, this was really calling attention to finding the balance between the soul and the ego. And when we are placed in a fire sign heavy energy, that can be a little bit difficult. As a fire sign, I had a hard time saying that, because we can have a tendency to be, overly confident, really in touch with our egos. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not necessarily a good thing either. This full moon, the energies will be highly amplified for Aries, Libra, and Scorpio. But you may still feel the effects for Cancer and Leo, because, Cancer is ruled by the moon and Leo is ruled by the sun. So just be sure to check your chart. I'm just gonna permanently keep the link for free birth chart below in the description box, so that you have that on hand. Check your placements. If you've got Aries heavy in your chart, like me personally, my Mars is in Aries, go figure. And my Scorpio's in Venus. My Venus is in Scorpio. Mercury's still not 100% direct, folks, so bear with me. But yeah, just check your placements, see where that's at, and see how that might play into how this is affecting you on a personal level too. And I do want to say that it would be wise to include the fire element in any rituals you decide to perform for this moon, because that's just going to give you, that much added of a magical boost. So without further ado, let's get into these cards, because I'm itching to share. As you can see here, I have some oracle cards laid out. And like I always tell you guys, it's just because it saves shuffling time, and just allows me to get straight to the point when it comes to the reading and pulling tarot and getting clarification and whatnot. So yeah, so the top row is going to be what we're going to experience emotionally with this full moon. This middle row is going to be what we are going to experience, mentally and physically with this full moon. And this third row is what we will be experiencing on a spiritual soul level with this full moon. So let's go ahead and get started. So emotionally, why am I struggling? I just love the fact that the full moon eclipse came out. And it looks like a blood moon. So emotionally, we're working with communication still. Communication has been, a very overarching theme for this entire week, especially, since we just had Mercury go direct. And that governs our communication, right? And that Gemini energy. I mean, I know we don't have Gemini really involved in this moon, but like I was saying before, it's about finding the balance between action and reaction. So I feel like that's the two sides of this coin here being represented right there in communication. And I did say, be careful what you say, because it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? So just be aware of your emotions when it comes to your communication during this full moon, during this week, to be quite honest, because, we feel the energies of the full moon a little bit before, a little bit after. Same thing with, retrogrades and things like that. So just be very aware of your emotions when it comes to conversations, because you can't take back something once it's said, right? And then conclusions are within reach. And to me, this just feels like it's bringing attention to the fact that we're coming to the end of a cycle, end of a really tough period with this retrograde season, because I know for me personally, it was been fucking rough. So it's just calling attention to that. And it feels to me that this full moon energy is really just going to be like a match that starts the fire. You know, for the past couple days, I've had this Paramore song stuck in my head, which is actually the title of this reading, and it's called Let the Flames Begin. I'm going to link that in the description box because the lyrics are very powerful, and it really speaks to the energy that this full moon is exuding and bringing to us. So I'm going to put that in there. And, you know, like I said before, it's a full moon eclipse card. So it's really bringing attention to where we're at right now, and you know, that the end is near, that the end of of this rough patch is near. And it also feels like we're also coming out of a bit of like a hermit phase where we've been very, very introspective. And that can happen when we have planets in retrograde. Even just one can create a sense of stagnancy, right? But we went through a period where we had 6 in retrograde, and then we also had the asteroid Chiron in retrograde as well. So yeah, stagnancy was definitely prevalent during this period. You know, we go through seasons just like, you know, Mother Earth does, right? So it feels like we were in a bit of a winter stage, you know, where we're just kind of in a bit of a hibernation. But now we're about to it's like we're coming into a spring phase. Even though I know we're in the colder months, we're technically in fall, but it feels like spiritually we're in and emotionally we're in a spring phase. So the heavy emotions are coming to an end, but we're not out of the woods just yet. No pun intended with the trees in the imagery. Anyways, so emotionally, hold your vision. And to me, this feels like hold on to the hope of happiness. And I'm not saying that everybody's like fucking down in Debbie Downers, super duper depressed mode, but you know, this is what happens when we are just in the thick of anything, right? It's regression to the mean. No matter how good something is, it's always going to fall back to a lower plane. And no matter how low we are, we're always going to get back to a higher plane. So it's just that ebb and flow. It's that swing factor, right? So just hold your vision. Know that, you know, these emotions are here and surfacing to allow you that room to grow, right? We can drop emotional burdens so that we can catch emotional blessings too. All right. And I want to move into what we're feeling on a mental and physical level. On a mental level, we're feeling a lot more connected to our spirit guides. And I think that's a really amazing energy to have, because I know personally I've been feeling a little bit of that, you know, spiritual disconnect, that higher consciousness disconnect. And I always tend to feel that way when I'm going through, you know, a hibernation period, an introspective period, because I'm very action oriented. I'm a fire sign. I like to go. I want to get shit done. I want to move. I want to make things happen. So I have a very tough time being in the cocoon stage, but definitely feeling a connection coming back to our higher selves and our, you know, ascended masters and what have you. And transformation. I did say, and that has been kind of an overarching theme for this entire week as well, is transformation. We are coming up into Scorpio season, and that's all about transformation, cycles, you know, death, rebirth, endings, new beginnings. We're right in a very transformative and transitionary stage, and it's tough to be in transition because you don't know what's up from what's down. You know, you're having to let go of specific things in order to make room for new things. There's that fear of the unknown, and the fear of the unknown is something that happens to everybody. It's natural, it's a part of the process, but it sucks. Let's just be honest, it sucks. But you know, we're coming out of the cocoon stage. We're coming out of that hermit mode. And I feel like this is coinciding really, really beautifully through the layers that I pulled out here, because it's like conclusions are within reach, transformation. It's like you're coming out of the cocoon, you're about to learn how to fly. Really, really good shit right here. And then underneath the hold your vision, we have well-being. So we're coming into a very, it just feels like a very grounded, a very just stable state of being in the mental and the physical space. And I think that's because we know that the end is coming. You know, we're still holding our vision. We're trying not to give up no matter how hard it is, because, you know, dealing with those deep, dark, dirty secrets that we may have thought we were completely removed from can be difficult. And now we're at a state of well-being, that we're feeling grounded, we're feeling balanced, we're feeling open, we're feeling ready, we're feeling replenished. And that's a really, really great place to be, especially on the physical level. So let's break into what we're feeling and what we're experiencing with this full moon on a spiritual level. So the spiritual level is definitely calling attention to the fact that we've reached, oh wow, I don't know where I'm going with that, but we've reached a point of great achievement. It's like we've hit a milestone. It's like we have so much to celebrate because we've done the work. We're moving away from that hermit mode, being introspective, where we have to do a lot of deep healing. We're moving away from that, and we're feeling victorious is what that feels like, you know. And we may even have some great things to celebrate coming into the future too, like big events. Like I'm seeing like the opening of a store, or like the launching of a website, a marriage, a proposal, a baby. There's something big that's about to happen. It's interesting because it's making me think of it, the milestone card, but it's not the milestone card, but it's a great achievement. And it feels like your spirit guides are communicating and trying to let you know that you've done it. The work has been done. The healing has been healed. I feel like there's like not much more that you have to heal, if anything. And I feel that way personally. Spiritually, we are being brought into new supportive connections. This is calling in your soul tribe. You know, I did mention that there is a heavy focus on what we desire in both pre-existing and future connections and relationships. And this is where we're at spiritually. We're calling in the people that see us, that hear us, that feel us. You know, there's something to be said about having those types of friendships where you don't really have to explain yourself, or having those types of relationships where people just get you on a soul level and you're on the same wavelength, and it's like you can hear each other's thoughts. That's such a beautiful thing, and that's what's on its way to you. That's what's coming in. That's what's going to be catapulted. That's that match I was talking about. It's just lighting a fire up under everything. And spiritually, you're on the honoring path. And I feel like this is quite literally you honoring your path. Again, going back to the great achievement here. This is very Six of Wands energy, where you're being heard, you're being seen, you're being celebrated, you're confident, you feel successful, you feel sexy, you feel independent. Very also Nine of Pentacles energy, very Queen of Wands energy happening here. So this is good shit, dude. So as far as emotional communication, we have the Two of Cups. And to me, again, that's just being very, very careful with how we are communicating right now. Emotions are running very, very high. That's Cups energy, right? So just being very, very aware of that. Because some harsh things could be said. We're still dealing with kind of restrictive, feeling a little bit of out of sorts. There's a little bit of aggressive energy coming forward, but it's also speaking to desires too, because that's what the devil is also representing. It represents desires, it represents wants, right? So just being aware of how you're trying to communicate your wants and needs right now is what that's really saying to me. So get some more clarification on what conclusions are within reach. What conclusions? Conclusions of healing. Like I was saying, we're coming to an ending phase where we're healing. We've healed. Look, hold your vision. Oh, that came quick. Hold your vision, yeah, because we're still going to be manifesting. Emotions, when our emotions take control of us, you have a hard time seeing past anything but the emotions, right? So it feels like we're busting out of that energy and holding our vision, holding our ability to create these manifestations. Because I get the feeling that during this whole retrograde season, there's been kind of a just lack of confidence, lack of hope, lack of vision, lack of co-creation happening. And the magician coming out on top of that is just letting you know, like, yeah, it's still happening. It's still going on. You haven't lost it. And then for the spirit guide, this is higher stuff, but the Wheel of Fortune too. The wheel is turning in your favor. And I feel like there's probably been a specific spirit guide or ancestor or ascended master, however that looks. They're still part of your spirit squad, no matter what the label is that they are. But there's been somebody that has been trying to, a soulmate in the ethers that has been trying to tell you and show you what's on its way, what you are pulling in manifestation wise. Oh shit. I not only dropped it, but it kicked. Okay. And then with this transformation energy. Ooh, we have the Strength card and the Fool. This transformation, it's taken a lot of strength to get to this point where you can have the new beginning. That's what that feels like. But it also feels like too, learning how to tame your ego again, finding the balance between action and reaction. That's keeping your ego in check. Yeah, because emotions are running high. So in this physical, mental space, tell me about this well-being card. What is that illustrating for us? Okay, so there's been some fast movement happening. I mean, the Knight of Swords is the fastest energy in the entire deck, and then we're also pulling the Tower card. We've got a lot of major arcana on here. This is really incredible, actually. We've pulled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 major arcana. But there's been some swift changes. This is what I was talking about with the changes and disruptions. The Tower card, things have been dissolving and moving out of the way, whether you want it to happen or not. And it's for your highest good. Everything that's happening right now is for your highest good. Everything that is always happening is for your highest good. And then with this great achievement, tell me a little bit more about this great achievement. Being celebrated for the healing, for not losing hope, for holding that vision, for learning. Learning to lead with your heart and your intuition. Learning to understand that relationship that you have with your higher self and how it works for you and not against you. Okay, no, we're not doing all that. You're out of control, Spirit. So I want to know, spiritually, what are we bringing in? Who are we bringing in with these new supportive connections? Let's talk about these new supportive connections. Damn. Okay, again, we've got a couple other major arcana. So we have the Hierophant. This is higher consciousness. And we're moving away from feeling lonely, left out in the cold, because we are at a higher vibration, a higher frequency. And sometimes we have a tendency to feel like we're missing out and we're lonely because it's difficult to have 3D relationships. But they're coming. Your people are coming. And we're moving away from that because you are calling in your soul tribe. Fuck, where did you go? Yeah, really collaborative people with that Three of Pentacles. This is beautiful energy. So let's talk about this honoring path. Tell me more about this honoring path. Oh my God, this is so... That's Aries energy, the Emperor. We're taking control. That's the action-oriented, the authority, the confidence, the pioneering, the warriorship. God, you can't make this up. Tell me more about this honoring path and this Emperor energy. Oh. I don't feel that energy. Yeah, dropping burdens with the Ten of Wands. And it's so interesting that he has antlers because it's a hunter's moon. This man, you cannot make this shit up. This is a big deal. This is literally talking about the hunter's moon right there with these two cards. With that Emperor card, which is Aries energy, and that Ten of Wands. And he's got those buck antlers. I can't. Yeah, we're no longer lying to ourselves. We're seeing past our own bullshit now. This is good stuff, folks. All right. I'm going to pull a couple. Oh my God. Closing guidance cards. Are you fucking kidding me? And then we pull the Stag. I'm annoyed right now. Hunter's Moon. Trust and thrive. This is about trusting in the process and thriving through it. That's fucking annoying. And then we've got Summer energy. Bask in joy and light. And I feel like that's because we're coming into, I was just saying, we're in kind of a winter phase. I said spring before, but it's like we're coming into a summer, a lighter flow of energy. So good. I wanted to see if there was another one that wanted to come out. And we have the Shield Maiden, make plans and focus. This is all tapping into that Aries full moon energy. We're at a point where things are about to start getting real juicy, getting real good. Okay? I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for this energy. Thank you for your time. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notifications so that you know when I've got new content coming through. Until next time, folks. Peace.